will the NFL say is QB1 in the 2022 NFL Draft? I have not been shy about this. I don't believe this is a great quarterback draft class. Like 2018, we were all just over the moon with dudes that were available. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Turns out, two of those dudes are pretty good. And they're the two that nobody thought were going to be any good. I say that. I thought Lamar Jackson was going to be good, and I'm sure you thought Lamar Jackson was going to be good, but you didn't know that he was going to be only the second ever unanimous MVP in the history of the league, dog. Him and Tom Brady. That's it. All right? And the other one is Josh Allen, which is where many of these dudes slot for the 2022 draft, okay? So let's start with 5 of these guys. We're going to start at number 5. And the first one's got to be Desmond Ridder for me. Now, Desmond Ridder is 6'4", and he can run. But his mechanics suck, okay? This is a dude whose arm and legs do not work in concert, whose throwing slot is too low because he got balls batted down against Alabama that a guy of his size should not have batted down at all. And quarterback wins is not a stat. Or I should say wins is not a quarterback stat. So don't tell me about the 41 games that he won at Cincinnati, because I would point to the Cincinnati defense and Luke Fickell, who should be getting the credit for that. The other thing that I think is interesting about a guy like Desmond Ridder is somebody's going to draft him in the first round. We know this because the NFL reaches. And we've seen the NFL reach time and time again on quarterbacks because it's just that kind of position. It's really, really, really hard to play NFL quarterback at a high level. That's why there are so many guys that seem to wash out or seem like they have just learned what a football is and how to play football, even though they've been playing football all their lives at quarterback. And I can go through a list of them. Check this out. These are first-round picks just since 2011, so the last 10 years. Blaine Gabbert went number 10, right, in the 2011 draft. 2 picks later, Christian Ponder went number 12 to the Vikings. Same draft, 2012, RG3 goes to the Washington football team at number 2, right? Brandon Weeding at 22 to the Browns. 2013, EJ Manuel goes to the Bills in the first round. Blake Bortles in 2014. Johnny Manziel in 2014. That's 2 years after they drafted Brandon Weeding, guys. 2016, you remember Paxton Lynch? That dude went number 26 to Denver. And then 2018, Sam Darnold and Josh Rosen. Both, one of those dudes is absolutely not a starting quarterback in the NFL, and the other one probably won't be for very much longer. 2019, Dwayne Haskins, washed out, period. Started with Washington, washed out at Pittsburgh. And then 2020, Jordan Love. We've seen enough of Jordan Love to know you'd much rather have Aaron Rodgers over there, and also you might not end up with Jordan Love as your starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. Of the 60 quarterbacks picked in the first round since 2000, only 25 have made the Pro Bowl. So Desmond Ridder's going to get drafted in the first round. It's just by who. Now, if he outperforms my expectations and he turns out to be a Pro Bowl quarterback, come tell me about it. We'll talk about it. I just don't see it, and I didn't see it against Alabama, and I haven't seen it throughout his career. I just don't trust the dude. But you do, and that's why he's here. You would ask me why Desmond Ridder isn't on this list. At number 4, let's talk about Malik Willis, okay? This is the Trey Lance. This is the Carson Wentz. This is the Josh Allen of the Josh Allens in this draft for me. He's a dude who ain't played nobody, who people will call tooly. He has all the tools. He flips his wrist and the ball goes 70 yards. He can absolutely run. But it's also a guy that lost a starting job, or I should say lost a quarterback competition, to Jarrett Stidham at Auburn, and then transferred to Liberty. Okay? I would tell you that's not Cam Newton out there. But again, you'll see what he's done at Liberty. You'll see how the ball comes off of his wrist, and you'll say, we got to take a chance on that guy. And I won't blame you for that, because if you need a quarterback, you need a quarterback. I think he has a lot of upside, and perhaps the most upside of any of the guys in this NFL draft. but that's what you're drafting. You're drafting a project, okay? The only dude that I saw make that work here in the last 10 years is Andy Reid when he drafted Pat Mahomes. Traded up to draft Pat Mahomes, and Pat Mahomes has turned out to be the Michael Jordan of the sport. If you can pull that off for a second time with Malik Willis, I will give you a standing ovation. I just don't see it. At number 3, let's talk about Kenny Pickett, okay? Pittsburgh's Kenny Pickett. Touched for a bunch of yards at Pitt this year. Broke Dan Marino's record for TDs in a season with 42. The record was 37. It had been there for 40 doggone years, since 1981. He's down the street from the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are going to start a quarterback against Kansas City on Sunday that can barely walk. Okay? It's time for Big Ben to get the heck up out of Heinz Field. And perhaps Kenny Pickett is your guy. Okay? He looks good running. He's also got a cannon for an arm. But I'm going to look at you and tell you he's 24 years old. Do you want a 24-year-old rookie when you can get a 22-year-old rookie? When you can get a 23-year-old rookie? Okay? When Lamar Jackson, I think, is 26, it's just, I don't know that I want to spend a first-round pick on a guy that is going to be 34 in 10 years, right? Who I might not have get the prime of his career except for maybe 3 years, tops. But perhaps if you're Pittsburgh, you want to take that chance, or anybody else who's in the conversation for a quarterback in 2022. Okay, number 2 on this list, Matt Corral. All right, I can talk myself into Matt Corral. He holds an identical ranking coming out of high school as Jackson Dart. He had the California state record for passing yards in a career with over 11,000. And he showed up to Ole Miss, took the job from John Reese Plumlee, and has developed into the kind of quarterback that plays in Sugar Bowls. Now, problem is, when he ain't on, he really ain't on. 2020, he threw 6 interceptions against Arkansas and threw 5 interceptions against LSU. That's 11 interceptions in 2 games. He also played in an offense that just doesn't translate to the NFL, right? Lane Kiffin wants to go quick, fast, and in a hurry. They're going to catch defenses that are misaligned. They're going to not let you substitute, and that's going to mean that dudes are running butt naked open on these post routes and these go routes. I don't trust Matt Corral to sit there at the line of scrimmage and make checks at the line and get his guys out of a bad play and into a good play, to throw guys open in really tight windows, because in the NFL, everybody's fast. In the NFL, they know how to get a line. I think it's just going to take some time if Matt Corral is to figure it out. Now, he's the dude that I probably trust out of the 4 that I have mentioned to figure out the quickest. But again, I have to talk myself into it. At number 1, the guy that I don't have to do so much talking myself into is Sam Howell. He's the only player here who's draft eligible, who we thought was going to be here at the start of the season. We thought we would be joined by, say, a Spencer Rattler, right? That's what we thought. There are a number of guys that we thought would be here that just ain't here. I look at Sam Howell and I see a guy that knows how to rebuild a program, who knows what it means to be a catalyst. He is the turning point for UNC. Led UNC to an Orange Bowl berth. Set records and led the ACC as a quarterback as a true freshman, right? He's playing on a level with Trevor Lawrence at the time. Now, his weapons left last year, right? Guys like Daz Newsome, De'Ami Brown, the 2 tailbacks, one of which Michael Carter, the other one's Javonte Williams. He was out without those guys, and he had to do most of this himself. He still is there, and he still got the tools to be a great NFL quarterback. His hips and his arms work together. He throws in rhythm. He knows what it means to check out of plays and get into plays. He took more ownership of the offense. And he's become much more vocal leader. And he's about football. Like, football, people love to be about football. And Mac Brown told a story last year on the Number One Ranked show that I really enjoyed about Sam Howell. He's talking about Valentine's Day earlier in 2021. And Mac was teasing his quarterback about, are you taking some lady out for Valentine's Day? Taking your girlfriend out? It's like, I ain't got a girlfriend, coach. My girlfriend's football. So what are you going to do for Valentine's Day? Me and Madden are going to have a good time, coach. Me and Madden are going to play a lot of football on Valentine's. If you're a football guy, if you're a general manager, that's what you want to hear from your quarterback. You want to hear that he only cares about this. In the way that Tom Brady only cares about winning football games. He doesn't care about a whole hell of a lot else. It's only here recently that we've seen more of his personality because for 20 years, it's about winning football games in New England. Okay? That's what you want from your guy. You want them to not know what movies are coming out. You want them to not play any other video games that aren't Madden, right? You want them to be about their franchise and to be the CEO of your football team because that's what they're going to be. And you want to hope that you draft a guy that, people like. Doesn't really want to get on anybody's nerves because, again, that's the face of your franchise. And Sam Howell brings that. There's a bunch of people that speak highly of him. I get text messages about what a good guy he is. I think that's my number one, okay, Sam Howell. I need to add here, Carson Strong is probably going to be drafted in the first round on tools as well and production. 4,100 yards at Nevada this past year, 36 touchdowns, only 8 picks, 70% completion rate. It's Nevada and it's the Mountain West, but I tend to think that the Mountain West played pretty doggone good football this past year with San Diego State and with Utah State in particular. To say nothing of what Fresno State was able to do with Jake Hayner, who I expect to be a first-round draft pick in 2023. Thanks for watching this video, and remember, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any other videos on the #1 Ranked Show YouTube channel.